Ancient philosophy has been laying bare the harsh realities of life for centuries. The greatest gift the ancient thinkers left us, as Epictetus put it, is that when you encounter wisdom, you should feel a sting inside. Just like when you leave a hospital. You weren't healthy when you walked in, but when you walk out, you're on the path to healing. Now, I'm going to share with you 30 harsh truths. They may challenge you, they may disturb you, you may even push back against some of them. But remember, these truths aren't meant to be easy to digest, they exist to make you stronger. Each one is a stepping stone toward your personal transformation. Grab a pen and paper. Every truth you hear will spark new thoughts in your mind and leave deep impressions on your heart. Writing them down, reflecting on them deeply, and applying them to your life, that will serve as a lasting guide. You may want to revisit this text many times over. Each time you'll discover a new layer of meaning, noticing details you missed before. Are you ready? Remember, this isn't just a text, it's the beginning of a transformation. Open yourself to this experience. Surrender your mind and heart to this wisdom. Because these 30 harsh truths have the power to change your life forever. Truth 1. Life isn't hurting you, it's training you. Life isn't hurting you. Life is pairing you with a powerful sparring partner. Every hardship, every obstacle, is actually helping you. It's developing you. It's strengthening you. Every experience you go through is transforming you into a better version of yourself. Push yourself. Choose strong opponents. Spend time with people who will wrestle with you and make you better. Because only when you push yourself can you reach your true potential. Easy paths produce easy people, and easy people can't stand tall when life delivers its real tests. Truth 2. You cannot learn what you think you already know. If Epictetus looked at you, what would he see? A student, or someone who thinks they know it all. When you believe you already know everything, you become closed off to learning. Yet wisdom begins with admitting what you don't know. Keep yourself open to constant growth, and don't let your ego limit you. The most dangerous prison is the one your own mind builds, the walls of "I already know." Until you tear those walls down, no sage can teach you a thing. Truth 3. None of us are as important as we think. As the philosopher-emperor Marcus Aurelius said, pause for a moment and think about the people who have crossed the stage of history. What happened to the famous names that were once on everyone's lips? Do we remember them now? The conflicts, the victories, the ambitions they saw as monumental. Today, they're not even a footnote. This isn't said to diminish you, it's said to liberate you. When you set aside your sense of importance, you truly begin to live. Truth 4. Perfectionism is a form of paralysis. As Churchill so strikingly put it, perfectionism is, in essence, a form of paralysis. While chasing impossibly high standards, you may actually be avoiding taking action. This is one of the greatest barriers standing between you and the realization of your potential. Doing nothing while waiting for the perfect plan, that is perfectionism's most insidious trap. A half-taken step is always superior to a step never taken at all. Take action, stop trying to be perfect, and choose to be effective. Truth 5. You must practice negative visualization. You need to go beyond positive thinking and consider possible hardships in advance. As Seneca said, nothing happens to the wise man against his expectation. This means being prepared for every scenario life can throw at you. Exile, war, personal losses, failures. Thinking about these things may feel uncomfortable. But why should we do it? Because as Seneca reminds us, the blow that is unexpected falls the heaviest. Contemplating hardships isn't meant to break our strength, it's meant to build it. By mentally rehearsing possible difficulties, we plan how to handle them and prepare ourselves. That way, when we face these situations in real life, we are calmer, more prepared, and stronger. It is unacceptable for a leader to say, "Wow, I never thought that would happen." A leader cannot say that. You must think about it. You must anticipate it. This is different from being anxious. You think about it, you prepare for it, and in the end, you're ready. No matter what. Truth 6. You can never escape change. Life is change. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that birth is a change. Death is a change. Every good thing in your life came from change. Of course, bad things happen too. But everything in life has changed. You can't escape it. You can only accept it. Resisting change is like swimming against the current of a river. It exhausts you, but it doesn't change the river. The one who embraces change and uses its energy to their advantage, that is the truly wise person. Truth 7. If you don't take their money, they can't tell you what to do. This idea traces back to ancient philosophy. Consider this: the great thinker Zeno refused to dedicate his books to kings. Why? Because he didn't want to take their money. Beneath this behavior lies a profound wisdom. When you accept favors or money from others, you may be placing yourself in a vulnerable position. Just as Seneca found himself in his relationship with Nero. In such cases, you allow them to lord over you, even to own you. But when you maintain your independence, you can meet your own needs with your own strength. A life where no one owes you anything is a life where you owe nothing to anyone. True freedom begins here. Truth 8. Alexander's ambition was greater than the world, but a coffin was enough for him. As a Roman poet wrote, Alexander's ambition was greater than the world, yet in the end, a coffin was enough for him. Marcus Aurelius similarly reminds us that Alexander the Great and an ordinary mule driver met the same end. This is a truth that applies to all of us. So then, why do we care so much about other people's opinions? As Marcus Aurelius said, ambition means tying our happiness to what others think. The truly wise approach is to tie our happiness to our own actions, to measure our success, our worth, and our peace not through the eyes of others, but by our own standards. This perspective leads us to an inner fulfillment and tranquility that is independent of external factors. Remember, in the end, everything fades into insignificance. Truth 9. You can practice philosophy in any role. No role is better suited for philosophy than the one you are in right now. This quote shows us that philosophical thinking can be applied in every area of life. Marcus Aurelius practiced philosophy while serving as emperor of Rome. On the other hand, Epictetus became a philosopher even while he was a slave. This shows us that no matter our position in life, high or low, rich or poor, powerful or weak, no circumstance can keep us from wisdom. Philosophy is not merely abstract ideas. It is a practical tool we can apply to our daily lives, our work, and our relationships. We can pursue virtue, gain wisdom, and make our lives more meaningful. Remember, philosophy is for everyone. Nothing can keep you from it. From this day forward, see every situation you find yourself in as an opportunity for philosophical reflection. Truth 10. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius declares, "It is not a misfortune that this happened to you. On the contrary, it is great fortune, because I was not harmed by it." He was saying that his character was untouched, but more importantly, he had now discovered something he could do with the situation. This is exactly what the philosophy of "the obstacle is the way" means. Every difficulty contains an opportunity within it. He is fortunate that this happened to him and not to someone else, because he is uniquely equipped and prepared to deal with it. So when life hurls obstacles at you, don't see them as misfortunes. Instead, consider that these challenges were designed precisely for you. Every obstacle contains a hidden opportunity, a chance for your growth, your development, your strengthening. These challenges don't hurt you. On the contrary, they make you even stronger. Remember, you possess the unique talents and experiences needed to overcome these obstacles. Embrace every challenge that comes your way and think, "This was made for me." Because every obstacle is, in fact, the way itself. Truth 11. It's not what you read that matters, it's how you read. Epictetus reminds us that it's not what we read that matters, but how we read. This is a wisdom applicable to every area of life. You can read hundreds of books, but if you haven't internalized a single line, those books are nothing more than decorative weights on your shelf. Finishing a book is not an achievement. Applying a single sentence from that book to your life, that is the real achievement. The chasm between consuming knowledge and digesting knowledge is one most people fail to recognize. The person who reads little but applies much is always superior to the one who reads endlessly but applies nothing. Truth 12. If you're offended by something, that is your own choice. Epictetus tells us plainly, if you are offended by something, that is your own choice. The event is objective, the interpretation is subjective. We decide whether events hurt us or harm us. But the truth is this, no other person can truly hurt you. We are the architects of our own emotional reactions. This perspective gives you an immense power, the power to control your responses. Marcus Aurelius offers the same counsel. Rather than trying to escape the mistakes of others, we should focus on our own conduct. This ancient teaching shows us the path to emotional freedom and inner peace. From this day forward, observe the reactions you give to events and take control of your inner world. Remember, true power lies not in controlling external events, but in controlling our own responses. Truth 13. Pleasure fades quickly, but shame endures. This is a painful but necessary truth. Momentary pleasures evaporate like morning dew, but the shame, regret, and damage they leave behind are permanent. Yet the positive side of this coin is the exact opposite. When you work hard for something, when you pour great effort into it, that exhaustion fades quickly. But the pride, the virtue, and the goodness that emerge from it endure. Ask yourself, will this action give me a fleeting moment of pleasure or lasting pride? The answer will clearly show you which path to choose. Truth 14. Poverty is not having little, it's wanting more. This is how Seneca defines poverty. Having money doesn't mean you're wealthy. Poverty is wanting more. In other words, you can be an extremely affluent, highly successful person, but if it's never enough, if you're constantly craving and hoping for more, then you are profoundly poor. True wealth is the point where you can say, enough. When you reach that point, you are freer than the wealthiest emperor in the world. Because he has his next conquest to chase, but you have nothing missing. Truth 15. Better to stumble with your foot than with your tongue. Zeno spoke only when he believed something absolutely needed to be said. Let us reflect on the meaning of this profound statement. In our daily lives, how many unnecessary, trivial, even wrong things do we say? More often than not, remaining silent may be the wisest choice. This is why you should pause for a moment before speaking and ask yourself, does this truly need to be said? Would it be better left unsaid? Cultivating this habit can make your communication more meaningful, effective, and elegant. Moreover, avoiding unnecessary words helps you organize your thoughts better and deepen your insights. A word left unspoken never needs to be taken back. But once a word leaves your mouth, it is like an arrow, it never returns. Truth 16. The problem is not the events themselves, it's our thoughts about them. The ancient thinkers remind us of a crucial truth. The problem is not the events themselves, but our thoughts about them. Every event we encounter in life is, in fact, neutral and objective. Events simply happen. They think nothing of us and feel nothing toward us. But we layer our own interpretations, emotions, and judgments onto these events, and that is where the real problem begins. Consider, for example, a rainy day. Rain is simply rain, neither good nor bad, but we assign meaning to it. For some, it's a gloomy day, for others, a day of blessing. Where lies the difference? In our perspective. Even more interesting, events don't need our opinions. The rain continues to fall regardless of what we think about it. This shows us something important. Much of the time, we experience stress, sadness, or anger needlessly. This ancient teaching offers us a form of freedom. If the problem is our thoughts, then the solution also lies within us. We cannot change events, but we can change our thoughts about them. Truth 17. You cannot become rich by acquiring things. Epictetus says that wealth is not about having many possessions, but about having very few desires. If you have everything you need, if you are sufficient, if you feel sufficient, then you are very wealthy indeed. Would it also be nice to pair this with having a great deal of money? Of course. But at the same time, you can possess very little and still feel sufficient and at peace. You become wealthy when you reach a place where you feel enough. When you reduce your desires, when you need no one and nothing beyond your control. For the ancient sages, that is true wealth. Truth 18. There's a reason you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We talk too much. The less we speak, the better we do. And it's worth remembering, talking about something and actually doing it compete for the same resources. The more you talk about something, the less energy and resources you have to actually do it. Talking is easy. Doing takes courage. The person who tells everyone about their plans has already spent their plan. The one who executes in silence lets the results speak for themselves. Truth 19. The grudge you're holding is meaningless. Marcus Aurelius asks, where are the people who held grudges and seethed with anger? They've all passed, just like their grudges. This profound insight reminds us of the brevity of life and the importance of where we direct our energy. Whatever is upsetting you or enraging you right now, know this, it is temporary. So how can we release these grudges? How can we move forward and stop carrying this burden? Here is a suggestion. Every day, try to forgive one thing that has hurt you. It can start with a small step, perhaps forgiving someone who cut you off in traffic. Over time, this habit will grow powerful enough to dissolve even the deepest grudges. Forgiveness liberates you and allows you to redirect your energy toward more valuable things. Remember, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. From this day forward, purge yourself of this poison and begin to live your life lighter and more peacefully. Let go of the grudge. Embrace freedom. Truth 20. We are all slaves to something. Seneca tells us that we are all slaves to something. This may sound harsh, but it actually offers us an invaluable insight. Consider, a powerful Roman leader could be a slave to his mistress, an ambitious politician, a slave to the crowd. And what about us? Perhaps we are slaves to our money, our eating habits, or social media. As Seneca puts it, even slave owners can become slaves to their own possessions. What does this show us? That we must carefully examine the things that control our lives and steer our behavior. Ask yourself today, what am I a slave to? Which habits or addictions are controlling me? This awareness is the first step toward true freedom, because only when we recognize our chains can we break them. From this day forward, question the forces that shape your life and savor the taste of true freedom. Remember, the most powerful person is the one who can master themselves. Truth 21. If everyone agrees with you, you're not thinking originally. If everyone agrees with you, then you're not truly thinking for yourself. One of the earliest thinkers said that if he had wanted to be part of mainstream philosophy, he would never have become a philosopher. In other words, there is nothing wrong with holding controversial ideas. In fact, you should have a few controversial views. Think for yourself. Don't do what everyone does. Don't think what everyone thinks. The approval of the crowd is not proof of correctness. The crowd has stood on the wrong side in every era of history. Thinking for yourself requires courage, but true wisdom is born only from that courage. Truth 22. If you haven't defined success, you can't be successful. We all talk about success, but most of us can never be successful, because we haven't defined what success actually is. Have you ever stopped to consider where you're trying to go? Seneca tells us that if you don't know which port you're sailing for, no wind is favorable. This profound statement contains one of the most important lessons for our lives. Success is not just about working hard, it's also about knowing where you're headed. Ask yourself, where do I truly want to go? Why does this goal matter to me? Is this goal within my control? Without a clear destination, you won't know how to make your daily decisions. You won't know how to evaluate the opportunities and obstacles that come your way. From this day forward, set aside time to clarify your goals. Think about how you define success, because only then will the wind that carries you toward your destination have any meaning. Truth 23. It's not about the destination, it's about moving in the right direction. I'm not telling you to always walk at a steady pace, but I am telling you to stay on the same path. Speed doesn't matter. Direction does. Some days you'll run, some days you'll crawl, but as long as you don't stray from the path, every step brings you closer to your goal. Consistency beats talent. Discipline beats motivation. A small step taken in the same direction every single day is always more powerful than an occasional giant leap. Truth 24. We don't live in Plato's Republic. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, we don't live in Plato's Republic. This teaches us something vitally important. Yes, life can be wonderful, but it is not perfect. Being idealistic is admirable, but being realistic is equally essential. We must not fall into the trap that the great thinker Cato fell into, merely imagining that we live in an ideal world while being unable to cope with the challenges of the real one. Ancient wisdom teaches us to hold high ideals while also being practical and pragmatic. We must accept life's imperfections, yet never stop working to improve it. From this day forward, hold on to your ideals, but don't neglect realism. Accept what is imperfect, but never stop striving for something better. This is where true wisdom and happiness reside, imagining the ideal, but learning to work with the real. Remember, the truly wise person is both an idealist and a realist. Truth 25. There is one certain truth, you will die. There is one certain truth, you will die. Fearing death is foolishness. What you should truly fear is the idea of never having lived at all. Life is far, far too short. Marcus Aurelius says, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think. Living each day as if it were your last is not a cliché, it is reality itself. This moment is the only moment you have. Tomorrow is not a promise, it is a possibility. Truth 26. You may think you're a good person, but you're not. You may think you're a good person, but you're not. Neither am I, and probably no one is. Because Marcus Aurelius confronts us with the fact that we can commit injustice and evil simply by doing nothing. But what does it have to do with us? You might think. There are certainly things we've turned away from. Things we don't want to think about. Things we've called someone else's problem. What can I do about it? I'm not powerful enough. What difference would it make if I alone stood up? These are the injustices we allow to be committed. As long as we don't try to do something about them, we are complicit. Seneca says, a person who is competent, resolute, and whom no compulsion can make wicked, that is a good person. Goodness is not a passive stance, it is an active choice. Truth 27. The greatest empire is command over yourself. You want power. You want control. You want influence. And yet you neglect the most valuable empire that exists. As Seneca said, the greatest empire is command over yourself. Over your thoughts, your opinions, your actions, your impulses. No one is free who is not master of himself, Seneca also reminds us. Governing yourself, disciplining yourself, controlling yourself, that is true power. Think about how many powerful people, how many important people, how many who commanded great armies or nations, did not possess this. They were slaves to their desires, their ambitions, their need for more. If you can master yourself, then you possess far more than they ever could. Truth 28. You care about yourself, but you care about other people's opinions more than you care about yourself. By human nature, like all people, you care about yourself. Yet Marcus Aurelius points out that while we care about ourselves so deeply, we care about other people's opinions even more. We worry about what we wear, what we say, whether they approve of us, whether they think we are good or bad. This is madness. Trust your own judgment. Trust your own inner compass. Make your own assessment of whether you've done good or poor work, whether you've succeeded or not. You cannot outsource that to the crowd. Remember, the crowd is chaos. The crowd is irrational. Don't leave any decision in their hands. Truth 29. True power lies in the ability to use it. Intelligence gains meaning only when you can put it into practice. As Epictetus said, inflating your muscles is no feat. The real feat is what you can accomplish with them. Education and knowledge are tools. The purpose is what you can build with those tools. The true value of knowledge reveals itself when you can turn it into practice. Remember, what matters is not how much you know, but what you can do with what you know. Knowledge that is read but never applied is a sword rusting in its sheath. Truth 30. True freedom is internal. The philosopher Epictetus, once a slave himself, reminds us that true freedom is not found in external circumstances. The unfortunate one is not the person who is a tyrant's slave, but the one who fears the tyrant. Not the person who must serve a master, but the one who needs a master. A great portion of our suffering comes from being enslaved to things, not to people. Life throws everything at us, from difficult tasks to challenging relationships. Yet Epictetus offers a powerful perspective. We can choose to be slaves to these circumstances, allowing them to dictate our happiness, or we can choose freedom. Freedom comes from accepting that the only real control we have is over our own thoughts, reactions, and choices. By focusing on what we can control, we cultivate inner strength and liberate ourselves from the tyranny of circumstance. Epictetus underscores the importance of focusing on the present moment. Don't demand that events happen as you wish them to. Instead, wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. Imagine our minds as restless rivers, either churning with anxious thoughts about the future, or trapped in the regret of the past. When we desperately cling to expectations, we surrender control. True peace lies in accepting the present moment as it is, not with resignation, but with the understanding that it is here and now where the opportunity for acceptance, growth, and serenity resides. Seneca reminds us that true distress often lies within ourselves. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think of the fears and doubts that cycle endlessly in our minds, whispering stories of failure, inadequacy, and rejection. More often than not, the greatest obstacles we face are the ones we create for ourselves. This teaching invites us to tame our anxieties and embrace our potential, for only then can we discover true resilience. Marcus Aurelius believed that everything is interconnected. What is not good for the beehive is not good for the bees. Imagine yourself not as an isolated individual, but as part of something far greater, your community, humanity, the cosmos. This perspective transforms our thinking. When we see ourselves as interconnected, we realize that actions that harm others ultimately harm ourselves. When we strive for the well-being of those around us, we lay the foundation for our own welfare, and we create a more harmonious world for everyone. These 30 harsh truths were not written to be easily digested. They exist to disturb you, to shake you, and ultimately to transform you. Read each one again. Take notes. Reflect on them. And most importantly, apply them to your life. Because wisdom, when left unapplied, is merely an ornament. But when applied, it is a force that changes lives.